Hello, everybody. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a good day. I'm just waking up this morning and I was scanning Twitter to see what was being said after last night's panel that Keemstar and the Lolcow crew did with Yaba and FFG. Just seeing what the general vibe was. For those who did not see the Lolcow live panel, what happened? Well, FFG and Yaba were on, although I'm sad to say they didn't have a whole lot of time on the panel. The time that they did spend on the panel was significant because the overall overview of what happened was Keemstar got more details about who Shantall is, and he came to the conclusion that he could not hire her for the main channel nor the Lolcow Queens panel because, in his words, she's a liability. And I agree. I agree, Keemstar. She is definitely a liability. I know that you're all about hiring the locals because they are the entertainment, but Chantal is a walking, talking liability. She's the kind of person that she does not take direction well. She doesn't listen to authority, even if authority has given her a paycheck. She is someone that 1 minute she's cool with you as long as you're paying her, and the next minute she's doxing you if she doesn't like anything you have to say. So, good news, Chantal will not be hired by Keemstar to be on any of his projects. He absolutely vetoed that idea once he heard from FFG and Yaba that she likes to dox people. And Chantal herself gave evidence of that because in one of her latest live streams, she was asking for the information of somebody right then and there. This wasn't something that happened 2 or 3 years ago. This was something that happened like just 2 days ago. So that sealed the deal. Chantal is definitely not going to be working for Keemstar. And I'm sure she's upset about that. But Chantal, you have to understand something. Keemstar, he's a businessman. Like, I don't know a whole lot about Keemstar, but I was watching the panel, like a lot of other people, and just reading his energy, like just really taking notice of his body language and his energy. And this is what I concluded, that he's very calm, he's very cool and collected. He's not someone that he does things in haste, nor from a place of emotion. He thinks about things. He's all about business. He's all about making money. And he's someone that he's very protective of his business and his brand. He will get vicious, though, if you mess with his money. So you, having no business sense at all, if you try to mess with Keemstar and his brand and his money, he will probably send lawyers after you because I'm sure he has lawyers on retainer as we speak. And those lawyers can give him all kinds of information. So I would not recommend going after Keemstar nor anybody on his crew because he's not going to put up with that. He's not an emotional person. He thinks about what he does. He thinks about every move that he makes. So I would leave the situation alone if I were you. I know that you were looking forward to working with Keemstar. I think that you've come to the conclusion that you cannot make serious money on your channel. Certainly, we've all seen evidence that the money is going down rapidly on your channel. You went out twice to go get coffee and your card was declined. So money must be pretty freaking bad. And you were thinking that you could get hired by Keemstar and that would save you financially, but it doesn't look like that's going to work out at all. So you're going to have to come up with a different plan. But any continued attacks on Keemstar, they're not going to work. And understand that you're messing with somebody that's got lots of money and they have a legal team. So I would just quit while I was ahead if I was you. Anyway, so what did Shantall do after the panel? Well, I was watching the panel, as I said. Shantall was actually in the chat. She sent a super chat. She was also in there under a couple of socks. Obviously, she was watching. She wanted to know what was being said. I'm sure it burned her up pretty good that not only did Yaba and FFG go up and say what they said, but Kai Bella went up as well. and talked about Salah's special fetish. So she's not happy. But I think the most upsetting part for her was hearing Keemstar say outright, I can't hire her because she's a liability. So 6 hours ago, she did a video where she was painting herself the victim. And I would like to say something before I start reacting to it, that in the video, in an effort for Shantall to paint herself a victim, she showed a snippet of one of the Sam's Bar Lounge videos. So for those who weren't around during that time, during Crackhead Olympics, there was a channel created called Sam's Bar Lounge that showed a lot of inflammatory videos of Natter and Dee Dee, where it looked like Natter was doing DV to Dee Dee. It looked like it. Uh, Certainly, even if it was role play, it was triggering role play for anyone who's been through DV or known someone who's been through DV. They were very upsetting videos. Rumor on the street is that Shantall was the one who was behind the Sam's Bar Lounge channel and the videos, although that can't be absolutely proven. That is the feeling of it all. But what I would like to say is whether or not that she was behind the channel, she claims to be a victim of DV, but what true victim of DV would show the alleged DV of another victim? Why would they do that? That is something that a real victim would never do. But this is how far off the rails Shantall has become. She's completely unhinged. Her finances are bad. I don't know what's going on with her and Salah. I'm sure Salah is not happy with her. But even now, with Keemstar saying, I'm not going to hire you, Shantall. You're a walking, talking liability, and I got to think of my business, rather than her just taking things gracefully and just going back to her own channel and working on her channel to make money. She is still trying to paint herself a victim, and that's not going to make anything better. So I would like to react to Shantall's video that she posted 6 hours ago. When we get to the part with the Sam's Bar Lounge video, I will be giving a trigger warning for those who might be too sensitive to watch it. I don't know how much there is. I haven't seen the video. I just know that the clips are in there. I saw that on Twitter, but I wanted to go over that with y'all because she's obviously upset. Like I heard she's babbling and she's not really talking in complete sentences. She's all over the place, but I wanted to react to that as well as the stuff on Twitter. So you guys know what time it is. It's time for the Twitter peeps. That's right, everybody. It's time for the Twitter peeps. One of my subs let me know that they have a cat that when they hear the Twitter peeps, they just perk up to the screen. I think that's cute. Thanks for that comment, by the way. But it's time for the Twitter peeps. Let's go over this stuff on Twitter. What happened last night? What's happening today? Let me just show you. All right. So for those of you that are on Twitter, that you'd like to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, WowGirlSarah. Okay, let's start here with a tweet from Del Pondu. Now, Keemstar, this is something that did not get covered last night, more than likely because Yaba and Frenchie didn't get a whole lot of on-camera time on panel. The time that they did spend, it was significant, but there were a lot of things that did not get brought up, such as the Foodie stuff. That did not get brought up. Also, this didn't get brought up. The fact that Shantall falsified charges against Natter and then later confessed that she did falsify the charges. But here's an interesting clip. And I hope that Keemstar sees this to understand just how diabolical and evil Shantall is. So this clip is from Crackhead Olympics. Shantall Let's go back a little bit though. Let's rewind a minute. I remember a stream that Shantall did. She was at Natter's place at the crack house. Natter was in the house, but he wasn't in the room. She was in the bedroom, wrapped in a sheet, talking to the camera. Somebody asked her the question, have you ever thought about Natter leaving you for another woman and giving another woman everything that you deserve? Because her beezers are just as twisted as she is. They equate the fact that if Shantall's paying for things, that she deserves a relationship with somebody, and that's not how love works. But somebody did ask the question, have you thought about Natter leaving you for another woman or wanting to see somebody else? And she honestly answered, I think about that all the time. And then she said something interesting, y'all. She said, I've got a plan. I'm not as stupid as you guys think. Trust. Something about an Aries. The moment that she said that, y'all, I knew exactly what she was going to do. She was going to use Natter's criminal past against him to threaten him or blackmail him with, maybe going to the cops if he made her angry. And lo and behold, later on, that's exactly what she did. Because Natter was spending time with Dee Dee. Dee Dee had come down from Montreal to Gatineau. Dee Dee was at the crack house with Natter. She had been there for quite a while. And the longer that she stayed there, the more that Foodie just was foaming at the mouth and getting angry and shouting and screaming at Natter on YouTube. And then Natter, for whatever reason, decided to post online that the next morning he was going to go to the cops and get a restraining order against Shantall. Well, of course, the Beezers found out. They let Shantall know. And she's like, oh, he wants to play that game? And she rushed down to the cops as punishment for him wanting to get her away from him. She was doing a live stream, an entire live stream, and she drove to the police station, and this is what we saw. We saw her get out of the car and leave for about 45 minutes with the live stream running on her phone in the car, and then she got back in the car and drove home. So she gave the appearance of going to the cops, although don't know if she actually did, but the threat was there. I think she did that because she was trying to scare Dee Dee to go home so she could go over to the crack house and be with Natter. She was just trying to get Dee Dee out of the way. Like she was pulling the ace out of her sleeve to make that happen. And all that it did was make Natter think about this one. This one's crazy. He didn't want to be with her. He didn't want to be with her in the first place, but he really didn't want to be with her after that. And then after said allegations, she actually went to his house with a care package of coffee and green products, like a coffee date. Going to the cops to threaten him or acting as if she was threatening him, and then going back to his house later, sneaking around to go see him. Is that the behavior of a victim? But let's get back to this tweet. Let's get back to it. Because this is interesting. For those who are wondering, is she a real victim? Is she really? Please allow me to show you that she's not a real victim. Because in this clip, she says, I exaggerated the claims. I exaggerated them. If you're a real victim, you don't have to exaggerate anything. You just have your truth, and that's all you need. And the truth never changes. And with Shantall, it was constantly changing based on her mood and if she's mad at you. And that is not a real victim. But regardless of what, let's watch the clip together yet again.
So I made it public and I shouldn't have. I didn't lie for revenge, but...
I didn't lie for revenge, but you lied. First of all, you shouldn't lie at all. Because accusing somebody Something. Shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up, Shantall. I'm not done. You sit right there and you wait your turn. You just get back in your corner. So, what was I saying? I remember. You don't lie at all when it comes to something like that. I am not a Natter fan, never will be. He's a scumbag. But whether you're a scumbag or some good guy on the street, you don't lie about someone doing serious harm to you. And you certainly don't go to the cops or the legal system and waste their time if there's nothing wrong. There's no need for justice. You don't get in their face and waste their time. They've got real issues to deal with, real criminals, real criminal cases. You don't lie. I don't care if there's a woman in the picture and you're jealous. You just don't lie about that, but you did. You did. So let's play that part again, please.
So I made it public and I shouldn't have. I didn't lie for revenge, but...
Yes, you did. You lied for revenge. You lied for jealousy. You were jealous that Dee was with Natter. And that's interesting by itself. Because if he did all the things that you claim he did, you wouldn't have been feeling jealousy. You would have been felt a sense of, say, empathy. Because if he hurt you and there's a chance that he might be hurting somebody else, wouldn't you feel a sense of like, I'm afraid for the next person? Because what they might potentially be experiencing, but you were jealous and you were angry because you felt that Natter owed you a relationship due to all the money that you chose to spend on him freely of your own free will. You felt that since you paid his rent, his phone bill, his cable bill, his food, you bought him clothes, you bought him an iPhone, you bought him an iPad because you paid for those things that he owed you something. And let's be real, Shantall. Let's be really, really real. This sense of ownership that you think you have over people, let's break it down. You didn't buy him the iPhone. You didn't pay the rent. You didn't pay for the food. You did not go out and work for those things. You know who paid for all that stuff? YouTube. Your beezers, the people who watched your videos, the people who sent you the super chats, they paid for that. They paid. So it was their money, not yours. It might have gone to your bank account and you might have written the check, but you didn't earn that money. It was basically free money. So acting as if you were working 60 hours a week and you were paying for things out of your own pocket, that nobody else had anything to do with that, come on. Come on. Trying to be a boss when you're not a boss, not working. But you lied on Natter. You were mad at him. You were mad at Dee. You wanted to break them both apart so you can go over there and hang out and do party favors and party with him. And obviously he didn't want you there. And that's why Dee was there. And maybe that's the entire reason why she was there, because he was sick of you and he wanted a break. And he figured the one way to keep a woman out of my house is to have another woman here. Did you ever think about that? That the reason why he had her there for so long is because you were being too clingy, too insecure, too jealous, too suffocating, and he needed a breather. And that was the only way he could get it. Like Dee act as a block from you bothering him. And he even moved to Montreal to get away from you. And I'm not excusing Natter, because the two of you played this weird game of he thought he could get all the money he wanted out of you and hold you on a string. And you thought by giving him money, you could hold him on a string. The both of you are adults and you could have cut this off anytime you wanted to, but you both wanted something out of each other. So you kept it going when either one of you could have said no. But let's go on with the clip, y'all.
I exaggerated it. I did.
She exaggerated it. See that? Hold on. One more time.
I made it public and I shouldn't have. I didn't lie for revenge, but I exaggerated it. I did. I didn't lie about things that like allegations I said. We did have a very toxic relationship. A lot of things were abusive. I'm not going to deny that. I told him right out. I'm not going to deny that. I'm sorry if your reputation takes a fucking hit for that. You're going to have to own your shit, own who you are, because
You can have a toxic relationship, but it doesn't mean automatically it's abusive. And Shantall herself has gone on record as saying that she is an abusive person. She has said many times that she's verbally abusive. Do I feel that her and Natter are both verbally abusive? Absolutely. 1000%. But as far as the physical abuse, well, that's questionable. That is absolutely questionable. I can easily see Shantall being that person that maybe she's physically abusive in some way. Maybe she throws things and throws tantrums when she gets mad. She does have a temper. Her and Natter do have that in common. They're both, they got a temper. They both need anger management. So who knows what happened in that house? But she's always painted the picture of he's the abusive one and I'm not, when they both are.
that's what happened. He was abusive to me with the sexual.
Abusive how? See, notice how vague she makes that. He's abusive to me. In what way is he abusive? Is he abusive with his language? Is he abusive with his words? Like, that's a broad spectrum. Does she consider something abusive when it's not? Is her idea of abuse, oh, he just takes my money and he's not seeing me 5 times a week. He's just seeing me 2. I mean, you really have to question Shantall, because she does exaggerate things. She just said on this clip, I exaggerated the claims. So what else are you exaggerating, Shantall? You exaggerate a lot of things. You blow a lot of things out of proportion. That's why, girl world, we say rule number 1, Shantall lies. Because an exaggeration like this is a lie. And you shouldn't have done it. And you keep doing it. And now you're posting a video showing the Sam's Bar Lounge video, which a victim would never do. They would never spotlight the possible hurt of somebody else who might be a victim.
Part, it was like, it was a situation where he kind of like wanted to do something I didn't really want to do. And he was like just pushy about it. But it's because he's like kind of aggressive sexually. And I guess
So for those who are wondering, what is she talking about? Well, I want to say this gently. Natter likes, shall we say, backdoor action. That was his thing with Shantall. He liked the backdoor action. And she didn't want to do it.
just put it on there because I didn't like it. And I feel like he didn't care that I didn't like it, basically. But I don't feel like...
But you know what? If he liked backdoor action and she doesn't like it and she didn't want to do it, what she could have done is get her keys, walk out of the house, and not go back. She always had that power. They never lived together. Whenever she wanted to go see Natter, she had her own place in Canada with Pete's. She could have stopped giving him money, blocked his phone number, stopped talking about him on YouTube, and that would have been that. She had her own life, and she chose to keep going back. Regardless of what, she kept going back. So was she really hurt? Was she really, really hurt? If she had the power to stay away, why didn't she stay away? He didn't even have a car nor a license to come see her. Every time she saw Natter, whether it was in Gatineau or in Montreal, she went to him. Even after the allegations, she was sneaking around to hotel and motel rooms and spending time with him alone. What victim can do that? No one that I could think of except her. Why? Because she's a fake. She's an absolute fake. Always has been. Trying to claim something that she isn't. And it's a slap in the face to those of us who've actually been through stuff. Let's go on to the next tweet. Sinatra says, is Foodie really trying to convince people it's her in these clips? It's not. No, it's not. So the clip in question that Foodie's about to show in this video, it's Natter and Dee Dee. It is not her. It is not her. And trigger warning, like I don't have the audio on, but you guys can see the text. You guys can see it. The Angry Scott says, you are freaking insane and disgusting, Foodie, to present this Sam's Bar Lounge video and not explain that's not you. Also, when did we upgrade the accusations against Natter to include blanking you and burning you with cigarettes? You're a manipulative psychopath trying to pull this guard. Yeah, like, why is it coming up now? Is it because she's upset? Because she didn't get the job with Keemstar? And she thinks that by painting herself a victim, they're going to feel sorry for her and hire her? That's not going to happen. I think that Keemstar and friends, they got more of a clearer picture that she is a liability. She's an absolute liability. She did an entire video where she was, in a sense, doing the Me Too thing on the video with a video title where she said, I feel violated. She knew exactly what she was doing with that title. And she was trying to accuse Keemstar and the panel guests of they violated me. They looked at a picture, even though she gave consent and she was okay with it. She came back later saying, I feel violated, when she never was. The picture, first, y'all, she posted that picture on her community post for free on YouTube. It wasn't even on OnlyHans first. That picture was also never shown on panel. It was talked about, but it was never shown. And because of that, Shantall got mad because she knew legally she couldn't do anything to Keemstar. She couldn't go to YouTube and give a timestamp and have the live taken down to prevent more people from knowing what a clown she is. And she couldn't go after him legally because, in a word, he would bury her. Him and his lawyers would bury her and put a flower on it. She couldn't do anything. So she was mad because she forgot. She wasn't on her channel where she can dirty delete things, that her clownery was up for everybody to see. So she retaliated by making a video doing the Me Too kind of thing of, I feel violated. They violated me. Nobody violated you, Shantall. You were up there. You wanted a job. That was kind of your audition. And you screwed it all up by trying to play the victim later. And that, dear Shantall, is where Keemstar saw that you are a liability. And no business owner wants a liability to their thriving business. You're a walking time bomb, and he doesn't want you or anything you do to blow up in his face. He didn't like hearing that you're a bit of a doxer. Nope. I would play this clip, but we're going to save it. I'm going to react to the video, and there's some inflammatory things in this video, so we'll save it. We're going to get on to the rest of the stuff. D. Angry Scott says, yeah, Foodie, you said it was your fault, but you also acted like they had essay you or something with how you talked about it. Those red and glassy eyes, the awkwardly placed jump cuts, that quivering chin, like you're clearly crying and trying to hide it, and that's funny on all its own. So I don't think there's is they showing the clip? I don't think they're showing the clip here. We can play this one. Let's watch.
Misconstrued. I've said a million times that I was mad at myself about what happened. I shouldn't have allowed myself to go up there, and I shouldn't have allowed you to look at my pictures. You probably would have done it anyways. The fact that kid behind the camera is...
You know what? You never know, though. Sliding doors. Nobody can rewind the clock, and you can go back and say something different, and there might have been a different outcome. You might have looked at it anyways, but you don't know. They might not have looked at the pictures per your request, but you did give consent. So once you crack an egg and put it in the pan and make scrambled eggs, you can't put the egg back in the shell. So you made a choice to give consent. Consent was given. People looked at the picture. They had their comments. You didn't like it. And then you decided to try to manipulate everything and everybody by painting yourself a victim when you never were.
Is taking, a gleeful joy and is laughing at the fact that he tastelessly was the one who distributed my picture, even if it was on my OnlyFans in the past.
It was also on your community post. Let's not forget that. You posted on YouTube for free. For free. On a public forum. Where it should not have been, but it was anyway.
That's my opinion. I don't think it's right to do. To a woman, I don't think it's right. And a part of me feels like you guys don't give a shit about that.
You know what, Shantall? I'm going to bring up something in your past. Something you might have forgotten. A story I've heard. I heard that when you were much younger, when you were interested in Pete's, your former fiance and roommate Pete's, the one that you bullied, and the name Pete's, where did that come from? Because Pete's used to suffer from acne. So it was like a smaller version of what you used to call him, pizza face, because he had acne, but that's where Pete's comes from, y'all. But do you remember showing pictures of Pete's private parts to your friends and laughing? You did that. You did that. You didn't get his consent, but I've heard that happened, allegedly. So you're over here crying about, I was violated. What about Pete's? How you violated him? Taking pictures of his private parts and showing that to all your friends. Want to talk about that? No, I don't think so.
And that is why I didn't think that I would be good for the show, okay? Nothing personal.
So you didn't think you would be good for the show. So why are you upset? Why are you still going on about it? You're doing an about face. You're doing a save face. You wanted to be on the show. Your main channel is sucking bad for money because you're not putting the work in. It's been 3 years and the life support that it's on is starting to fail. You wanted to kind of sort of abandon your main channel in favor of working for Keemstar because you could make some good money there. Really good money if you got hired. But they weren't hiring you and that made you angry. You're angry about it. And the mask is coming off. They saw a part of the mask come off and they're like, oh my God, we didn't know this about her. Yeah, and she was taking advantage of that, Keemstar. She was taking advantage of the fact that you guys don't know all the lore and you guys don't know about her other face, but you got a peek at it. This is what it is. This is what girl world knows. And this is why you shouldn't hire her. So I'm glad that you're not. Otherwise, you're going to have to deal with all this. Yep.
Well, whatever. Do you, all right? At this point in my life, I'm not the person I was.
No, you're worse. You're right. You're not the same person you were. You're actually worse. You're more unhinged now than you ever were. And that's saying something, that you're worse that way.
People go up on panel and bring up, I'm not that person anymore. I still swear a lot and I still sin, whatever, but I've moved on from that part of my life.
Really? Give it about 48 hours. You're going to be mad about something and be swearing and going off on FFG and Yaba and everybody else. Give it about 2 days.
I'm 40 and it's just not a headspace. It's not entertaining for me really anymore.
Remember the story that I told you about the fox and the grapes? How the fox saw grapes hanging above its head on a vine, and the fox wanted the grapes, and the fox tried everything to get to the grapes, but in the end, the fox couldn't get to the grapes, and so it walked away from the grapes saying, I bet they taste bad anyway. Same situation right here. She can't have it. It's out of reach. So she's reframing it as I didn't want it anyway. It wouldn't have been a good fit for me. Sour grapes, big time sour grapes.
Thought that maybe it would be, considering my past and, you know, my status as a Lolcow, whatever. I really don't feel like I am a Lolcow anymore. I feel like I don't
You are.
really do much. I'm kind of boring now, but whatever.
Yeah, you are boring. I'll give you that. You're not lying about that. Okay, so Two-Tailed Caper says, oh, but Foodie Beauty, just yesterday you admitted to doxing an innocent old woman at a nursing home. So DX on Twitter was given part of a recap here. DX says, mad about Keemstar laughing at her, demanding to get paid. Coming for Tina still. People give countless examples of Shantall doxing people. She finally admits it, saying she doesn't care if she doxed Grandma Dee because she was a different person. Get over it. Yeah, no apologies there for doxing an old woman in a nursing home who has nothing to do with YouTube or Girl World. So why is she getting doxed? No apologies. Not a single one. All she says is get over it. Why? Because narcissists are never wrong and they never apologize. Never. Absolutely never. Truth Seekers says, so since Shantall said she felt violated because Keemstar passed her nudes, but what happened to those other times she flashed, not her vag, but her boobs as well live? When she did OF content, she would, flap her boobs because the reactors would have to edit that part out. Yeah, she did that on stream a lot. Knowing that the reactors were reacting to her or would react to her to mess everybody up, she showed her boobs. Look. She would do it on purpose. So she had no problem showing her private parts. Absolutely none. Up, see, showing her bra. Showing her bra. Yes, she did. So like, I'm so modest. Yeah, whatever. Save it. This has to do with BBJ. Julie says, if you were that concerned, BBJ was too unwell to be rehomed, and that concerned her for her well-being, why did you hand her off to a stranger before taking her to a vet? Liar who lies. Y'all, let me go back up here for a minute because I wasn't paying attention to that. To the clip. I want to make sure that she didn't show any nudity that I have to edit out because I wasn't paying it. I was reading the tweet. Please tell me they didn't show her boobs. Oh, good. They edited that part out. Fantastic. I just want to double check. But you guys can see she was all about showing her body parts. She thought that was funny. Pay attention to that, Keemstar. Just went yelling and screaming about a picture that was passed around offline. You guys never showed it. Here she is on a live stream, straight up showing her stuff. Yes, she was. Yes, she did. Okay, back to this tweet. So here's some of the transcripts from some of the chat. She says that I felt horrible. I felt like crap. Okay, so I made an appointment with her vet to get her taken care of, and I was deciding what to do with her because the last vet visit she had kidney disease. So Shantall knew she had kidney disease. She had all kinds of issues, arthritic issues. So she knew that BBJ was sick, like an elderly cat would have. And I thought it would be cruel maybe to rehome her with all those issues, and that she'd been with me for so long that if the vet examined her and recommended that'd be in her best interest to be euthanized, then that's what I was going to do possibly. I didn't even make a something. Shantall was not going to give BBJ a chance at life. She's like, oh, she's just too sick. She's got all these issues. Nobody's going to want her. So I'll just put her down. She didn't even try to find someone that would take her with all those issues and fix them. Well, thank God for FFG. Okay. Here we go again. From the live stream, Miss Anthropope Lulu says there's always receipts because she's a pathological, compulsive, lying liar that lies. Yep, and here's more proof. Miss Anthropope Lulu says Foodie Beauty, proof of Shantall admitting she padded the charges she made against Natter.
I feel like I romanticize our situation.
Imagine that. Romanticizing being with an alleged abusive person.
I do everything. I have dreams about him every single night, and it's always frustrating, but I also... No, I didn't, John Doe. That's what I'm saying. People think I'm a liar. I'm not.
But you exaggerated the claims. What is that if not a liar?
It's not that. I don't want to talk about it. That's what we meant to talk about, stuff like this. So.
And another thing, since we're here, the night that she had a three-way situation with Dee Dee and Natter, she tried to insinuate that there was a sort of an essay situation as well. She told different versions of the story. The first version she told, she made it seem as if Natter forced her to do something. That he was pushing her towards Dee Dee and he was going to force her to do something. And then when people were pressing on her in the chat saying, what do you mean? Elaborate. But did he force you? Did he force you to do something? She finally admitted that the only thing that she did not like was watching Natter and Dee Dee be intimate together. She didn't like seeing that. That was it. But the first version of the story was that Natter almost forced her to do something. Then once the chat was pressing on her, she changed her story. Isn't that something? There seems to be a pattern with Shantall, that she tries to paint herself the victim, and then when people put the pressure on her to give up the truth, little bits come out, and then you figure out that she's a lying liar who lies. Hence the reason why Girl World says Shantall lies. She always lies.
So I want to be respectful, that of what we talked about and stuff, but I also just... never mind. This is my dilemma, though. This is my dilemma. Do you think he enjoys intimacy with you?
No.
Yes.
No. If he enjoys intimacy with you, why did he have Dee Dee over and not you? Why is it that Dee Dee was allowed in Club Natter without paying an entrance fee, but every time you showed up, you had to pay a cover charge, a very expensive cover charge? You were paying for everything, Shantall. If he really liked you, why wouldn't he hang out with you for free? Why was he treating you like a pay pig? Because you were his pay pig, and he wasn't in love with his pay pig. You were just the piggy bank. That's it, the walking ATM.
I exaggerated it. I did.
Yep, there we go again. I exaggerated it. So if anybody needs proof, she's a liar. She's a diabolical, evil liar. There you go. Only an evil, diabolical, twisted person would make up claims of SA and DV for the purpose of control, manipulation, and revenge. Only an evil individual would go that far and would do that much just because they want to control a crackhead. But that's Shantall. That's who she is. That's what she does. And that's why you're not getting the job with Keemstar. Congratulations. Karma's come to visit, finally. The Angry Scott says, but he did want you on the show until he realized they were all laughing at his wife's kitty cat. And that's why you're really crying. But didn't you just get done saying you pay for nothing in Kuwait? So why would you be so excited to make all that extra money? Because she was looking at the site hiring her as a final Hail Mary to be able to stay there. I think finances are really, really tight. I think Shantall's feedies have dropped off. Like money is dropping lower and lower. And she's worried. She's worried about if she doesn't make enough money, she can't stay in Kuwait, that Salad is going to walk away from her. Like everything in her world hinges on her making money. And the less she makes, the more there's going to be trouble. But let's watch the clip.
And if he was wanting to milk me for YouTube money, also, I fell in love with somebody and moved here. And if he was wanting to milk me for YouTube money, he would want me to do the show. Make it make sense. I told him.
He doesn't want you to do the show because of what the show is about. And because of the fact that his special fetish got brought up. Salah is okay with you doing anything to yourself that affects just you, if it means making a paycheck. But if it involves him, if it involves his family name, if it involves his fetish, which could get him in trouble in Kuwait, it could cause problems for his family. That is where he draws the line. If it involves him, if it affects him, and it's already affected him, how much of what went on does he know, Shantall? Have you told him? Does he know the full story? I bet you've hidden some stuff from him, even now, trying to explain it away, but at some point, he's going to find out. Somebody's going to send him something. I've heard that people have sent clips to his father, his family. I don't know how true that is, but you can't cover this up. And you can't go to Keemstar's channel and delete the live stream. You might as well just confess, you know?
How much you guys make on Lolcow Live. And potentially I could make just as much. Because look at the views I'm bringing you.
You know what, Shantall? Maybe it would have brought them some views. But you know what's interesting? And I think this is so awesome. Last night, with the panel that happened with FFG and Yaba, Keemstar's mind was blown because his audience went from 5,000 people to 10,000. And he was paying attention. He was paying attention to the fact that there's a lot of people in girl world, mostly women, and having reactors that people know, FFG and Yaba, like that's why the audience was large. It wasn't because you were there. It's because they were there. And Frenchie and Yaba being on a panel together was a new thing. And it's like, people were like, whoa, Yaba and Frenchie together for the first time. They were excited. I wish they would have gotten more time on panel. I really do. But I'm glad for the time they did have. But Keemstar was also blown away by the amount of money that Girl World was throwing up there. And I think he realized, I don't have to have Shantall on panel. I can have people that react to her come on panel and do well. And I won't have to deal with the liability that is you. Like the wheels were turning in his mind. Absolutely.
If I were to engage on a regular basis with this lowbrow shit.
Lowbrow. Now it's lowbrow crap. At the same time, you wanted a job with them. Because you didn't get the job, suddenly it's lowbrow stuff. Okay.
Please. But he said never. And
yep, never. You're never going to get hired. You are a liability. You will bring nothing but trouble to himself and other people. He's a businessman. He knows good business and bad business when he looks at it. You would be bad business. You would not be worth it. You're not worth it. Perfectly Imperfect says, just a reminder that Foodie Beauty left for Kuwait in November 2022. Her cat BBJ had been to the vet in March of 2022. The last time her nails were trimmed was 8 months. She came back to Canada in March of 2023. A whole year since BBJ had her nails clipped. No excuse. Yes, Shantall was claiming it just been a few months. It was a year. A year. And that would track because it would take several months for a cat's nails to go from at the very tip of the front of their paw and curl all the way around underneath the bottom and pierce the skin. It takes a long time for that. I don't care if they're elderly or not. It takes a while for that to happen. She had time. And even if she was in Kuwait, she could have paid someone to take BBJ to the vet and get her nails clipped, or take her to a groomer's and get her nails clipped. It's not that expensive. It doesn't take that long, and it can even be done at home. So no excuses here. None. Okay. Snarky Priest says, oh, Lord, here we go. Girl, take a break. Yeah, she said she was taking a break. What happened with that? Are you serious? Says, great, Foodie Beauty. But how about an apology to Lolcow Live for accusing them of violating you for looking at a public photo you posted and gave Keemstar enthusiastic permission to view? Yeah, where's the apology? Where's the I'm sorry for the insinuations that you are making? You're not giving it. You just don't know how to say you're sorry when you should be sorry. Del Pondu says, I could be making more than Keemstar. Ma'am, are you okay? No, she's not okay. She's flipping out because her last chance of making money disappeared. It went down the toilet. And I predict, y'all, I'm saying it now, take this check to the bank. Because of the fact that Yaba and Frenchie got on panel, and Kai Bella, and particularly Frenchie and Yaba, talking about how she likes to dox people, and even evidence recently showing Shantall asking for somebody's info, that sealed the deal with Keemstar. She's going to be raging on Yaba and Frenchie. Mark my words, it's coming. She's big mad at them because in her eyes, they ruined her chances of being hired by Keemstar when really it was Shantall's fault. If Shantall had not done the I feel violated live stream, which opened the door to everything else afterward, if she had not done that, if she had accepted the rejection with grace, gone back to her channel, worked on herself, improved her worth, they might have had her on a few more times and hired her. Keemstar would have found a project for her, but because of all of her dirty laundry being found out and the fact that she likes to dox people she doesn't like, that was a no from Keemstar. But it was Shantall who started that whole engine running. She went on, she gave permission for a photo, then she felt violated. Keemstar found out. He had the panel with Yaba and Frenchie. They gave information. I mean, it's a whole chain of things that she set off. So it's your fault, Shantall. You did this. DX with the recap says that she explained to Salah that she could be making even more than Keemstar, quote, because look at all the views I bring you, but he cares about her too much to let her do it. She sounds unconvinced. I don't even think he knows. I don't know what Salah knows and what he doesn't know. Nothing But Love says, really, Shantall? You felt the need to play a clip from Sam's Bar Lounge? You are disgusting. This just shows how low you will go. Yep, another reason why she's a liability for Keemstar. I mean, this one's a monster. She has to be a monster to spotlight somebody else's hurt. Truth Seeker says she has no clue that she just promoted his channel. Yep. Smart businesswoman is Shantall, not. Foodie Beauty says, this is one of her community posts, the girl world reactors are bigger lolcows than I could ever be. Please make them cam up if they are going to talk smack on others' looks. You know what? You know what I would love, y'all? I would love that if this happened, Shantall gunning to be on Lolcow Live, and because of FFG and Yaba bringing all the people that they did, the girl gang, the support group, I would be cackling like a witch if Yaba or Frenchie went on Lolcow Queens and talked about Shantall. I mean, they're both entertaining. Why not? I mean, maybe Keemstar might do that. Wouldn't it be something that instead of Shantall getting a job, he hires Frenchie or Yaba and they got the job instead? Would that not make her head explode? Yeah, it would. That would be chef's kiss. That'd be fantastic. Chef's kiss all the way around. DX says, OMG, she just uploaded. Eyes swollen from crying, voice hoarse, trying to act unbothered. Says Keemstar, quote, ran a circus. She is doubling down on them being crappy and just distributing her pictures. It may be a circus, but you want to be a clown in that circus, but you got rejected from the job and now you're mad about it. Snarky Priest says, attention, this is not a drill. Foodie Beauty is spiraling out of control in her latest video. It's 46 minutes of incoherent rambling, run-on sentences, and half-formed thoughts. She's a blubbering mess, and it's absolutely captivating. Ooh, it sounds good. I can't wait to review it with y'all. All right, let me see what else we got here. Tat Von B says, now she wants to tell Lolcow Live her truth. Oh, she's trying to get back on, is she? No. What a peasant. I will never understand how demented the beast How intentionally she left out bits of the story. I can't imagine living in her warped world. She's in need of a liability. So she thinks that she's going to go on Lolcow Live and paint a picture about she was a victim. That's not their content. They're there to laugh and, rib each other and have fun. They don't want to hear her story about being a victim, especially when she wasn't one. And because Keemstar and his people are on Twitter, all the clips I just showed y'all, Keemstar was tagged. So they're going to see that. So any plans that you had, Shantall, of painting yourself a victim, they're going to see those clips and know that you exaggerated the claims, you liar. Like I said, stop while you're ahead. We got all the receipts in Girl World. We go truth shopping and we filed those receipts away. And how many reaction channels are there? How many archive channels? We got it all, baby girl. You might want to sit down with some tissue and have a good cry and stop pushing the issue. It's not going to work. It's really not going to work. Okay, what else we got here? Truth Seeker says she lied about filing the police report. There are clips of her admitting to it. You did file the report and admit to lying about being SA'd. There's proof from your own mouth. Yeah, you know what? Let me blow this one up. Let me blow it up. Let's watch the clip together.
You have not seen the report. When I wanted to retract the report, I said that I told the...
Imagine that. Imagine being a victim and wanting to retract the report. And not because you're a victim living with your abuser and you're afraid of them, you're afraid of retribution, but just because you want to have sex with them. She even said out of her own filthy, rotten mouth, she even said, I wish there was a way that I could keep the charges on him and continue to be intimate with him. She wanted the power to have control over him and to threaten him and still see him. She wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Like she wants to control Natter by holding that threat over his head and getting a D at the same time. That's how evil she is.
The police that I was...
And here's like, this Like, okay, y'all look at this. Please pay attention. Please. Y'all look. So this is supposed to be a letter to the detective or the police officer, right? Do you guys notice something funny? Take a good long look. From who? From Foodie Beauty. Not from Shantall Thoreau, which would be correct. If she's the victim, she's not going to be using Foodie Beauty. She's going to use her real name because, you know, the legal system is not about YouTube handles. But this was a supposed letter that she sent. But she sent it as Foodie Beauty, not Shantall Thoreau. But she wrote up this fake letter. Fake. Saying, I would like to retract my statement. So you guys can see it. Look at this part. There is also the fact, and I hate so much to admit this, that I'm still in love with him, even though he did all those horrible things. So, like, come on now. Come on. Whatever.
Mentally ill, and I wasn't remembering the facts correctly, and I was exaggerating them, which was not true.
She did exaggerate. She said on live stream, you guys saw the clip. She just said, I exaggerated the claims.
Actually, the first time I filed the report, everything was true. Everything.
Nope, liar.
I don't even, I was mentally ill, and I wasn't remembering the facts correctly, and I was...
There were no facts. There were just lies. That's all there were. There were lies. Lying liar who lies. True Seeker says, this is going to be the new Cuba Rage 2.0. Hold on to your seat, guys, because this is fixing to get real soon. This move is classic Foodie. She did this the last time she put herself into controversy. She went live crying, changing the narrative, and scapegoating part 2. It's a done deal, Shantall. It's a done deal. You're not going to get hired. Get over it. There are lots of people everywhere that go to apply for jobs and they get turned down. What makes you any different? You've got your main channel. Stop being lazy and work on that, and you might make money. Go back home to Canada and do your thing. Obviously, you can't do it in Kuwait, and that's part of the problem. Just go back home and do stuff. What are you waiting for, dummy? True Seeker says the next thing she does is turn the comments off and then on. A rage is coming. Now that Keemstar put out tonight's live and said she was a liability, she will be more hateful and spiteful. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Ooh, girl world. It's about to get real. Yes. Bring it on. Yes. Mrs. Flupa Booty says, number 1, she's broke. Number 2, this is her I'm not bothered routine where she's going to post lame vlogs of her poking camels and will probably use old footage. 3, this gives her cover for a probable visa run. If she had any kind of sense, the moment that she got her paycheck from YouTube, she'd go home. She would sleep on mom's couch and she would go all the way off about everything and make a little bit of coin. If she had some sense. Not saying that she does, but I'm saying if she still had it. Del Pondu says, 10,000 people watching Foodie get roasted. I'm not religious, but God is good. Yeah, there were 10,000 people in the Lolcow live last night. 10,000 people. Practically all of girl world. I love that for her. And she put this up last night after the live. This is courtesy of Nothing But Love and Kristen. So here's her community post saying, hi guys. So I said I would take a break from YouTube, but I'm going to do some vlogs, but take a break from live streaming for now. Not mukbangs, but just vlogs. Hopefully we'll have one out tomorrow. Have a good day or night. So she's supposed to do vlogs, and then she did that video. Pick a lane, Shantall. Please pick a lane. Please pick a lane. Please pick one. Another interesting thing that happened, I guess, that anybody remember Allah, Salah's friend? I guess he was in Milky Chai's chat last night and making comments. See, there he is. This is one of his comments. I guess they were asking him if Salah wanted to go to Canada. Allah says that's his target from the beginning, but she said she doesn't want to take him there. So he wanted to go to Canada, but there was no way that Shantall could do it. And here's more, courtesy of Kristen. Allah is watching the circus via Milky Chai, and he's talking crap. Allah was saying he's very stupid, this Salah. I guess they were asking him, are you guys still friends? Allah says, no, I stopped with him because of her a long time, because he follows her. So he lost a friendship over Shantall. Allah says she wears the hijab because she doesn't have hair. So like Allah, he's floating around in different places, huh? I guess so. Nero Spicy Life, this has to do with the panel. FFG had them admit Chins is a liability. Yappa told a live audience of 10K that Funko Baby has a math pipe burn and that she goes to Canada for coffee with Shmi. Kybella explained Scatgate, she's going to explode. Yeah. Oh, it was so wrong in all the right ways. I was living for it. Like both FFG and Yaba were on fire. They were on fire. Okay, so where are we? Okay, we're over an hour with the stuff on Twitter. So I'll tell you what, let's just get off of Twitter. We've seen enough on Twitter and go directly to the video. And when we get to the Sam's Bar Lounge stuff, y'all, I will let you know for those who want to click off on it. From what I've seen, you don't see actual DV. There might be some sounds, but for anybody who might be triggered with anything connected to that, I will let you know when we get to that part so you can turn away or fast forward or something if you need to, because I do understand some people may be very triggered or sensitive to that. So here's Shantall's video. It's Keemstar, meet the clowns in your circus, trigger warning. So let me just get past her Scameo because nobody cares. And we'll start from here. And I hope you guys enjoy this react.
About the YouTube Underground and Rage Potato FFG being on Lolcow Live. Just going to put it out there. Keem, you really ran a circus, a clown show. It was...
But that's okay. If he does run a clown show, hello, it's called the Lolcow Live. It's about lolcows. It's about clownery. It's about him going back and forth with people. It's in the title. He did not misrepresent himself. Boogie is up there. Wings is up there. They're controversial people. They've done awful things. He's not up there selling Girl Scout cookies, nor are they. So what point are you trying to make? Seriously, what point are you trying to make? It is a circus, but it's a very profitable circus for him, and you want to be a part of it. You want to be a hired hand. You want to be a hired clown for that circus because your circus is making you broke. Because nobody's interested in your circus. There's nobody showing up to the tent and sitting on the bleachers inside. You're big mad because nobody wants to watch your circus anymore because it's not entertaining.
Embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
He made a lot of money last night between the views and the super chats. Are you kidding me? He even said during the live stream that there were $2,000 in super chats. So I don't think he minded it being a circus. I really don't think so.
You have no idea who these people are.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It made him money. It made him a lot of money. He doesn't know who you are. He was willing to hire you until he figured out you were a walking liability that likes to go after people, that likes to dox people. He's into the business side of things. And he's like, oh, heck no. Nope. I'm running a business. I can't. I won't. No, thank you. He shut the door on that right away. Good.
So you're going to learn today. Okay. First, I just want to say, okay, my entire point, as usual, what I said, as usual, was completely misconstrued. I've said a million times that I was mad at myself about what happened. I shouldn't have allowed myself to go up there.
You know what, Shantall? I reacted to that I feel violated thing. I heard a lot of things. You know what I didn't hear? I'm sorry. I did not hear, I'm sorry, Keemstar. I blew up. I said some things. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I'm a complete idiot. I did not hear anything that sounded like an apology. I did not hear any accountability. I heard nothing. It was you painting yourself a victim. That's what I heard. That's what I still hear.
And I shouldn't have allowed you to look at my pictures. You probably would have done it anyway. A gleeful joy and is laughing at the fact that he tastelessly
I've heard that it was
picture,
Isaac,
even if
Be
it was
My Guest, that sent the picture over to Mike. I believe Mike is kid behind the camera. That's how they got the picture.
on my OnlyFans in the past. That's my opinion. I don't think it's right to do to a woman. I don't think it's right. And a part of me feels like you guys don't give a shit about that. And that is why I didn't think that I would be good for the show. Okay.
It's not that you didn't think you'd be good for the show. Let's be real, Shantall. Let's be really real. You thought, you being part of Girl World for 8 years, you've really messed up. Like you wanted to be the bad guy. Okay. You cultivated this whole image of yourself of being the bad guy. Like, listen, I'm old. I'm like 53, about to be 54. And I grew up in a time, my dad, we watched wrestling together on TV, like WWE, WCW, and you got the good guys and you got the bad guys. And the good guys are the baby faces and the bad guys are the heels. You, madam, what you did was you chose the part of the heel. You wanted to be the bad guy. You wanted to be the worst bad guy, to walk through the crowd and people booing at you and throwing tomatoes and shouting and screaming. And you get in the ring and people are just hissing at you. Wanted that. You did everything in the world to create that image and you kept it going and you never once turned back on that. So you did a whole lot of things. You were as offensive as possible. You were as profane as possible. You wanted the attention and you wanted the money and you got both. But you did too much. You did way too much. And you thought, and at the end of it all, with the way things have gone, karma has caught up with you. Your tower is falling. The stones are starting to come loose. The tower is about to come down. You're looking at your own channel and saying, I want to walk away from this because it's not making me money. I don't know how to have it make money. The only thing I can do is go home to Canada and maybe get started with that again. But how long is that going to last? You were really looking at Keemstar and Lolcow Live as a last Hail Mary to save your finances. And that door got shut in your face. You went over there thinking nobody was going to know you. They weren't going to know the lore. If they did, they'd know very little. And you could get on the payroll real quick and get a paycheck before they found out. And you forgot about Girl World. You forgot about the people who know all this stuff, who have all the receipts. You didn't count on getting on panel and Tina knowing as much as she did and all that stuff being brought up. But even still, after the panel was over, you could have handled things with grace. You didn't, which opened the door to Yaba and Frenchie and Kybella getting on a panel and exposing you further. You screwed yourself out of a job. And now you're mad. You are big mad about that. Well, getting mad and painting yourself a victim is not going to change Keemstar's mind. He's all about the money, honey. And you would be a threat to his money. You over there doxing people. Nah, he wants nothing to do with that. You be channel poison.
Nothing personal, whatever. Do you, all right? At this point in my life, I'm not the person I was.
You're worse.
That these people go up on panel and bring up. I'm not that person anymore. I still swear a lot and I still sin, whatever. But
so you're still the same person. You just said it. I'm not the same person, but I am the same person. Pick a lane.
I've moved on from that part of my life. I'm 40 and it's just not a headspace. It's not entertaining for me really anymore. I thought that maybe it would be, considering my past and,
Shantall, I got to tell you something. Personal observation here. Watching you on the panel, you were having a good time. Come on. You were having a good time. You were Foodie Beauty. You were Shantall. You were being yourself. You were amongst other Lolcows. You were completely comfortable. You were laughing more during that panel than I've ever seen you laugh in the longest, being in Kuwait with Salah. Look at you back here at home. You're not having a good time. And it's because you're pretending to be someone you're not. You've never been Miriam. You've always been Shantall. You've always been Foodie Beauty. It's time to admit the truth of who and what you are and stop pretending. Just come to terms with yourself. You are not a traditional person. You are not a traditional housewife. You're not in a real relationship. You're not in a real marriage. The person you're with does not love you. Stop surrounding yourself with lies. Live in truth. Go home to Canada. Get things started. You're not happy and this is not making sense.
My status as a Lolcow, whatever. I really don't feel like I am a Lolcow anymore. I feel like I don't really do much.
You're right. Thinking about it, you're right. You're not a Lolcow. You're not a Lolcow. Because the laughter is gone. You're not having fun. There's no lulls in your cow. You used to have fun being a Lolcow. You used to laugh. You used to have a good time. You don't have fun anymore. So you're right. You're not a Lolcow. You're just, I guess, a sad cow. I don't know.
I'm kind of boring now, but whatever.
Kind of. Just a little bit, you think?
I eat in a hijab. I travel, do things around Kuwait, whatever. So my point is, I'm not surprised at all that this is, I knew this was going to happen. This panel, this blah, blah, blah. All right. My haters are piranhas, and any opportunity, they're going to leech off of it.
Hey, listen, the door was open. The panel happened. It's over. Now what's he going to do? You're mad because information that you were trying to keep hidden got out. And that sealed the deal with Keemstar. And you are big mad about that.
And that's kind of what you guys are doing. So anyways, and let me use this analogy. In the court of law, there's a judge, which would be you, Keem, because it's your show. There's a defendant, and there's the opposite side of that. There's the person doing the accusing, then there's a defendant, and you really just listened to one side and were like, oh, wow, that's insane.
Is she really comparing this thing to a court case? Is she trying to do that? Okay, you're going to go there. So you're walking into a court and all the evidence has not been gathered yet. So is it the prosecutor? I don't know how the court system works, but like they call your first witness. We're trying to build a case here. We're calling character witnesses. We're bringing up the facts. That's what happened last night. Keemstar's like, we've been accused of something that sounds like the Me Too movement. Bring up the first witness. Bring up the character witnesses. We need some information. We need some background. And background was given. Information was given. And then they got more of the picture. Like, oh, okay.
About everything they said when it was pretty much all lies. Like,
no, we got receipts, Mama. We got receipts.
Number one,
I just showed some in my Twitter feed. What you got to say about that? Your words coming out of your mouth at the time that you did it during the live. What do you have to say about that? How can you refute video evidence of you talking that is unaltered?
I'm dying of laughter because I knew if FFG and Yaba, being the disgusting fat cowards they are, went on any panel.
Ma'am, you say you were dying with laughter, but I'm looking at your face right now. Your face is very puffy. Your eyes are red. You've been crying. You are broken about this.
Oh, they're not going to cam up. Please do me a favor. Please ask them to cam up the next time they come on. This is what FFG looks like.
What's your point? Does this strike anybody else as stupid? What does it matter if they cam up or not? This is not a fashion show. What does it matter if they cam? This is such a stupid point she's making. Stupid. It makes no sense. Next time they come up, cam up, cam up, cam up. What does it matter? They were not there to be fashion models. They were up there to talk about you, Shantall, and you don't even cam up as your real authentic self. You got filters running. You know, you've got all kinds of stuff going on to hide your face and hide your neck. What is your point? You are not your authentic self. You got a living avatar as we speak. What is your point with it all?
The fact that they say that they talk shit about my behavior is bullshit. There's nothing to talk about now. They have the nerve. I heard Yaba say that I bully her. I bully her. I bully you? Look at her channel. Do I have thousands of videos on these women? These creatures? No, I don't.
How many live streams have you done talking about Yaba and FFG? Let's count them. Too many to count.
No. What I do is I defend myself and match their energy. These people have been bullying me for years. I mean, I consider the source, so it doesn't really hurt my feelings. They're cowards. They don't cam up. Show your fat faces. It's unbelievably hypocritical and hilarious to me that Boogie, who's bigger than me, I'm 349 pounds. I've weighed myself in Thailand. I've weighed
349. Add another couple 100 pounds to that. But you know what? We're not here to discuss her weight. I don't care. Her weight is her issue to deal with or not deal with. If she wants to lose weight, gain weight, that's up to her. The weight isn't the issue. The lie, the fact that she's lying is the issue. But we don't care about that right now. We really don't care. She can lie to herself all she wants. Let's keep going.
myself
Like, I got bigger fish to fry than how much she weighs.
at the doctor's. I've weighed myself several times here, but
Rigging the scale.
they say it's a rigged scale.
It is.
There's always some kind of bullshit with no proof, okay? So if that's your entertainment, just a believing stupid shit for whatever, if that's what you're into, fine. But you must know some things about these people too, okay?
You know, if Shantall got hired by Keemstar, Keemstar did say on the panel last night that he said he's not really fat friendly. That, Boogie and Wings, he's having them lose weight. Like they've lost weight since being on the show. And I'm sure that if Keemstar took on Shantall, that might be an opportunity, y'all, for us to find out how much she really weighs. And he'd be insisting that she lose weight. So we might actually find out, if she had worked with him, how much she really weighs, because he would not allow her to lie about her weight.
First of all, Yaba is a scab of YouTube. Her skeletons outweigh mine any day of the week.
What are you trying to do, Shantall? I see where you're going with this. What you're trying to do is you're trying to discredit the people that went on the panel. You're doing the whataboutisms. What about Yaba? What about what she's done? What about her past? Blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. FFG and Yaba, they went up there to be guests on the panel. Notice they did not get up there and ask for money. They didn't go to Keemstar and say, well, we've got big channels in Girl World, therefore you have to pay us. No, they were like, let us up there for free. We want to roast Shantall for free. We'll do it for free. And they did. And everybody loved it. And Keemstar made money with it. They went up there and they roasted you for free. And I'm sure the Keemstar is considering having Yaba or Frenchie, or maybe both, on Lolcow Queens. Considering the turnout last night, I'm sure the businessman in him is thinking about things like that. And wouldn't it be something if it actually happened? He was impressed. I'm sure he was very impressed and thinking of ways to do like some kind of spin-off or series or whatnot on you. He gets to make money on you and not have you up there. Oh, he's wanting to tap into Girl World so bad. He wants to marry the two worlds. He sees the potential. That's the businessman in him. Yeah. You, not so much.
I'm trying to think of some things that they accused me of. I'd never smoked crack in my life.
Ma'am, you confessed to all of us that you found a used meth pipe in Natter's house and you smoked out of it. You nasty, nasty woman. You smoked out of some stranger, a used meth pipe. And you even have a scar on your lip, an old burn from smoking out of a meth pipe. Do you forget about that?
First of all of these things that they're talking about were from more than 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago, okay? This guy, she's saying that they say I chased around.
You did.
First of all, I went through, and it's all documented. Go look up Sam's Barland.
Okay, I think we're about to get into it. We're not to the video part yet, but let's make one thing perfectly clear. The videos in question never featured Shantall. It was interactions between Dee and Natter. It never showed her. It never showed Natter hurting Shantall in any physical or sexual way. She's showing footage of other people doing stuff. But she's going to act like this is her footage, and this is twisted. Twisted. She's doubling down on this victim narrative. She tried to paint herself the victim. You guys violated me. Now she's going with somebody else violated me when there was no violation. Absolutely none. But go ahead and make a fool of yourself again, Shantall.
Lounge video. Actually, I'll play the clip for you.
Okay, trigger warning. I haven't watched the video. I don't know what's going to be shown. I don't think anything is going to happen, but I'm just letting you guys know, if you want to skip past this part, please do.
I'm not scout.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not scout.
Hey, he just threw his cigarette at
And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I watched these videos the first time, it triggered me. But one thing I thought was very, very strange is that Dee was narrating the whole thing. like there was some kind of role play going on, and they were carrying out some sort of role play for whoever it is that was behind the camera or whoever it is that was watching. Like everything going on was a sort of role play. It made me question how authentic it was. If somebody had requested this or asked for this kind of role play and they were doing it. So like it looked weird to me at the time. But look, she's saying what he's doing to whoever it is on camera. Why would you do that? If he just threw a cigarette at her, why wouldn't her response be, oh my God, you just threw a cigarette at me, versus he just threw a cigarette at me? So it looks weird to me, okay? It just looks weird to me, and that's my opinion, and that's all. I don't know exactly what happened. I wasn't in the room. I'm just saying, as someone that I've been through DV, that just looks and sounds weird.
And he just threw his fucking thing at me. Right?
Like she's talking to whoever it is that's off camera, whoever's watching. She's like, this is what he's doing. She's doing like a play-by-play. When you're in a DV situation, you're not doing a play-by-play. Weird.
He's throwing his cigarette at me.
And don't fucking say me coward again.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I'm not coward. And don't say me coward again.
Now, we just heard a slap. We don't know what he slapped. It could have been her. It could have been the couch. I don't know. It looks and sounds a certain way, though, and that by itself is triggering, whether it's fake or real or not. But why, if Shantall were a real victim, why would she show this on her channel? What real victim would show the possible hurt of another victim? That's not normal.
Go.
You know what? Let's get past this part. I don't want to show this anymore. That's she's showing way too much of that. Way too much, in my opinion. And this beach, she has the nerve to show that, and then she shows this. Stop it. Stop it. You fake victim, stop it.
This is the guy that they're saying that I chased around. They're saying that
you did. You did for a year. You did.
I made up forged documents at the police station.
You did. You showed us a fake letter that didn't even look right. It looked like some Xerox copy, something or another, off a printer. Like everybody was pointing out all the consistencies of that letter. You're a fake and a phony.
That's a fucking lie. That's a bullshit lie.
No, it's not. You're a lie. You're a lie.
I went to charge him.
Yeah, out of revenge. Because Dee Dee was there and you had no access to him and you were fiending for Natter.
Because he was abusing me.
No. Because you wanted control of him. You wanted access to him. You wanted to spend time with him. Dee Dee had been at his house for weeks, months, I think. And you were mad because she wouldn't go home. Natter did not want her to go home. He knew as long as Dee Dee was there that you couldn't be there. So he kept Dee Dee there for that reason.
Just like you saw in that video. When this was happening, I talked about everything he did to me.
And we just saw the clip. I exaggerated the claims. Could anybody believe anybody that says something like that?
Give me STDs.
Well, that's your fault. It goes back to you. What are you doing as a, at the time, late 30s woman running around raw dogging men that you know are promiscuous? If you caught an STD from him, it's because you're an idiot and you didn't buy protection and have him use protection.
He financially abused me.
What? He did what? Oh my God. Y'all give me a second. I had to stop a minute for that one. He financially abused you. Let the record show there was no financial abuse on Natter's part. Why? Because he never controlled the finances like Salah does. She never gave him control of the money. As a matter of fact, since she brought it up, and you know, I've been on YouTube for a long time reacting to her, let the record show that it was Shantall who made Natter's channel, which was connected to her Google AdSense, which was connected to her bank account. So any monies that was received from the Natter channel went directly into her bank account. And that's why he had to wait on her to get any kind of payment. That's why once a month she gave him money. And that's when she would disappear for weeks. After she got paid, she'd give him the money. She'd disappear for a while because they were partying. And then when the money started to run dry, he would send her home. And he didn't summon her back until she got more money or she offered up more money. Let the records also show that because she controlled the money and she was paying for everything, how in the world could he financially abuse her? He received money, but she willingly gave it. And at any time, she could have stopped. She could have not paid the bills, not paid the rent, not bought the groceries. She could have taken down his entire channel if she wanted to, due to the fact that she created it. She could have yanked it down at any time, but she didn't want to do that because she was obsessed with him and she wanted to keep things going. And she knew if she did that, he'd be completely done with her. And she didn't want that. Her goal was to be claimed by Natter and ultimately marry Natter. And that didn't happen. She also tried to trick him into saying that she was his girlfriend. She even went out and got her own engagement ring, y'all. She bought her own ring and took engagement photos in a park, which are still out there. I don't like Natter, but I feel like there was a push-pull, tug of war going on between those two, like who had power over who day to day. But she had the money and she abused having money. And so, like, she tried to control him with the money. She was always bringing up what she gave him and what she bought for him. Yes, she did. So if there was any financial abuse going on, it was by her because she's the one that had the money, but she could have cut him off when she wanted to. She just chose not to. Kept it going for a year. And then once she figured out that she could not control Natter, that's when she hopped over to Salah. And in my opinion, her being with Salah, it served two purposes. One, to get back at Natter. She was getting back at him. She's very childish, high schoolish in her thinking. She was basically showing Natter, look, you better hop on me. You better grab me. I'm about to do for somebody else what I was doing for you. You know how much money I got. You know how much I can make. You better grab me up. You better get rid of Dee Dee. That didn't happen. But she was also trying to use Salah to get Natter back. And it didn't work. But due to the fact that all this stuff happened on YouTube in real time in front of people, she couldn't just let Salah go because that would be a bruise to her ego when people called her out and said, oh, it's fake, it's phony. So she followed through. She dove down the rabbit hole and she kept at Salah, and it's cost her dearly. Her views are down. Her money is down. She's not happy. She did this to herself, and she keeps doing it to herself rather than look at the situation at hand and say to Salah, look, we've been trying this for 3 years. I can't do it anymore. My channel is my money. I can't make money here. Let's just part as friends. I'm going to go back to Canada. I'm going to eat crap from Girl World, and I'm going to start over. I know I'm going to get egg on my face, but this is about self-preservation. I have to protect my income. I can't do anything here with you. I need to go where I can. And then just say goodbye to this whole thing, but she won't do it because he is connected to her ego and she doesn't want her ego to take yet another hit. But if there was somebody being financially abusive, it was her. It was definitely her, not him. He didn't have the finances to hold over her head, but she had them to hold over his head.
He emotionally abused me.
Whatever. You went over there for that. You invited that. You drove to his house. You didn't have to.
He was cheating with hookers, which is how
You can't cheat on somebody you're not in a relationship with. Full stop.
he gave me an STD, and I didn't know. He beat me.
No. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. You know, it's too early in the morning to go to be screaming. I don't want to disturb my friends by screaming into the mic right now, and I won't. I'm gonna stay calm. He never did that to you. Shantall, I remember when you first started seeing Natter, you would come home with bruises on your chest and on your arms, and you would brag about it was rough intimacy. You were proud of it. You were showing off the bruises. Like you weren't hiding them. You weren't covering them up. And as someone that I've been through DV, if somebody has done something to you that leaves bruises, generally real victims, they cover them up. They don't want anybody to know. They don't want anybody to see, but you were showing off your bruises. So it started off as the two of you having rough intimacy and you being proud of it. And then later on, you changed that to he's abusive to me. You're making all kinds of claims. But we just saw the clip on Twitter a couple of times where you said you exaggerated the claims. So I guess the level of abuse, or if abuse even happens, doesn't have to do with things that actually happened. It has to do with your mood, and if you're mad, and if you want to be vindictive. Not a real victim. Not at all.
He burnt cigarettes out on me.
No. Wrong again. First, you said that what did you say? He put out cigarettes on you. Then you said he flicked a cigarette at you. Don't know if it actually made contact with your skin, but there was no burn mark. You didn't show us a burn mark. If he did flick a cigarette, I'm not saying he should have done it. Nobody should do that to anybody. But what I'm pointing out is you lie. Shantall lies.
And the fact that they're just up there, that's what they do. They're vile. So to say that I'm the vile person,
you are,
when they're literally victim shaming somebody who's been in an abuse.
Shut up. Please shut up. Please stop. If you had any respect for those that have actually been through trauma, you would stop. You would stop claiming to be something you're not. You would stop claiming that things happened that never happened, that you said out of revenge and vengeance. You would stop.
Abusive relationship. So what happened was I was in love with this person. Okay.
Yeah. And the whole problem with the relationship, y'all, was that she felt what she considered love for Natter, but he did not love her back. That was the problem. Her idea of love is controlling somebody. It's not real love. She doesn't know what healthy love is. She doesn't understand nor want to understand that it's a mutual thing. It's by choice. It's by free will. You don't force somebody's will to your will. That's not how love works. But her idea of love is, I'm going to trap a dude with me. I'm going to financially control them and they can't escape. That's her idea of love. And she thought because he's just some stupid, skinny crackhead that she could do that with him, and it never happened. So that's where all the fireworks came from.
And then he became abusive. They're not abusive right away.
No, you're abusive. You are. See, you're doing that thing, Shantall. You are a predator. And to keep people from noticing what a predator you are, you cry victim. As long as people think that you're a victim, they would never look at you and say, oh, this one's a predator. She's evil. She's awful. You don't want people to see the real you. You cry victim to your beezers because as long as they're thinking that you're a victim, they would never consider that you're a predator because that's what you are. You prey on people. You hurt people. You've done that all your life, even before YouTube. Predators always masquerade as victims or innocent when they're not, so they can continue going on being evil.
You know, I fell in love with this person, unfortunately.
He didn't love you.
And I've never had experience with being in an abusive relationship in my life before.
And you still haven't. You still haven't. Nothing happened physical, at least, between you and Natter. I'm sure the two of you had screaming matches. I'm sure about that. But he never touched you.
Before like that. You know, I've always been, before that, I was in like 14 years of like with decent people.
Yeah, and what did you do to them? You walked all over them. You used them. You were with BB, good, hardworking man. You cheated on him. You were with Pete. You cheated on him too. You ruined him financially. Even when you left to go to Kuwait, you left Pete in serious debt because his name was on the lease of the villa and there were all kinds of damages. I heard that the bill was over $5,000. Guess who had to pay the bill? It wasn't you. You wrecked and ruined and trashed the villa, and he was left to pay for everything again. You ruined his credit. You ruined it. I'm sure he's still paying on that debt because of you. This is what you do to decent people. That's why you're with scumbags now. That's what you deserve.
I mean, I've had some bad apples here and there, but nothing long term. So he's a narcissist abuser.
And so are you. The two of you have that in common.
He's vile. He's actually in court right now for SA of an elderly person. So they believe
and the rumor on the street, can't confirm, don't have receipts. The rumor on the street, Shantall, is that the reason why you ran to Kuwait is because maybe you don't want to be called to court, that you're hanging out in Kuwait until this whole thing is over.
The person he's with now, as you've seen, is abused. They believe that the elderly woman could be abused, but not me, because they hate me. So anything to fit their narrative, right? Now, I went to the police station and I never filed a false report. Prove it. You have not seen the report. When I wanted to retract the report, I said that I told the police that.
Yeah, and there we go. It's blown up. Look at the name. If it were an official report, why would it say the name Foodie Beauty? Would an official report have a YouTube handle? Why would there be this up here? You see that? It wasn't even Shantall Soro. It's Foodie Beauty, so it looks phony to me.
I was mentally ill and I wasn't remembering the facts correctly and I was exaggerating them, which was not true. Actually, the first time I filed the report, everything was true. Everything.
No, it wasn't.
I don't even know why I'm bothering defending myself. This is like the only video I'm going to make about this.
Lies.
And then you guys can keep having your clown show. I don't care. Whatever. I'm moving on with my life. I don't like talking about this person anymore.
You know, Shantall, I'm going to be mean. You're going to move on with your life. Where can you move to? You're stuck in Kuwait because you don't have the means to move on. You can't move back to your home country and move on. Part of the reason why you're in Kuwait is because you put yourself in a position financially where you can't move. You did that to yourself. You ate through all of your paychecks. You ate through all of your finances. You're dealing with a channel that's dying on the vine. There's hardly any life left. You went on vacation in a way, and the reaction channels have done all they can to keep you interesting. But there's only so much we can do. There's only so much we want to do. 3 years, Shantall, 3. You phoned it in, and people are tired of it. They're over it. Like, you and what's going on with you is a result of you giving up on your channel. Just phoning it in. You can't blame us. We're doing now what we've always done. We're doing nothing different. It's you that's different. It's the way you're handling things that's different. And now things are falling apart. And we're just sitting on the bleachers watching. We got nothing to do with this.
And the whole 2 years that I was going through this, they were making my life hell.
Shut your mouth. You are making your own life hell. You chose to be with Natter and all that drama. You chose that.
With their reaction videos, with their victim shaming, just being disgusting.
I'm not about victim shaming, but I'll tell you who and what I will shame. Fake victims. I will shame them all day long. I will drag them for filth. You're a fake victim. You're not the real thing. I can look into your eyes and tell you've never been through nothing like that, Shantall. Nothing like that. I will drag you for filth over and over and over again because you're a fake. Because I've been through that hell. I've been through DV and SA for real, bitch. Nothing like that has ever happened to you. I have the scars to prove it. So do other people. You're a phony. You're a fraud. And what you're doing, what you did then, it hurts real victims. It's hard enough for those who've been through it for real to find the strength to leave those that hurt them. It's hard enough for those that are going through it or have been through it to go to the legal system and get justice, to sit in a courtroom and look across the room and see the person that did the damage and have the strength to tell their story in front of strangers and put the person responsible for that hurt in jail. You mock real victims. And as someone that I was one, and I'm now a survivor, I will drag you for filth. All day long, every day, I will call you out. I will point you out. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it because people need to know you're fake. You hurt those that are real victims, and that should not be allowed.
So, FFG wants to talk about doxing. There's actually screenshot proof, and somebody is going to send it to me, that in her Discord, she doxes people, and she's gotten her Twitter banned many times for doxing people. The dox that she's talking about was years ago, and
yeah, let's talk about it. What happened? So Shantall got on her channel night after night saying things about Natter, saying that he was abusing her. He hit her so hard that she saw stars. I mean, the things that she was saying were very concerning. And I openly confess, listening to her, I was worried for her because I've been through it. And I know how scary that can be, how life-threatening that can be, how a DV situation can go from 0 to 100 in seconds. You can easily lose your life in a situation like that. I know how bad it can get, how scary it is. She had me fooled for half a second. I was worried for her. And there's something that everybody should know. And it's not my story to tell, but it's important to note that French fry girl, she was involved in a relationship. DV happened. It got so bad on one occasion that the person responsible hit her on the head with a hammer. The person responsible was put in jail. They went to jail for what they did. But Frenchie, being someone that she was the victim of DV, because she'd been through that experience, hearing Shantall talk about she was going through it, in that moment, French Fry Girl was not a reactor. She was not a YouTuber. She was a woman who had been through a very severe, violent, horrible, traumatic experience. listening to somebody saying that they were in something that looked like it could become that. And as a woman that had been through something that horrible, she was afraid for Shantall. And she reached out to her to warn her, you need to get away from this man. If he truly does have the black-eyed rage, if he has hurt people, you're going to be in a position where you cannot defend yourself. Like you think you're big and bad, but things like that can be dangerous. So French Fry Girl, as a woman, reached out and advised Shantall to get away. She did Shantall a kindness that Shantall did not deserve. But as a woman with humanity, knowing how bad that can get, that's why Frenchie did that. And how did Shantall repay that thought and that kindness? She gave the phone to Natter, an alleged abusive person, and Natter threatened Frenchie. And Natter lives in the same city as Frenchie. Someone who's actually been through that. Also, another thing that Shantall did, she mocked French Fry Girl and her trauma by dressing up one Halloween. And the stuff is still out there. Y'all want to find it? Find it. It's there. Post it on Twitter, y'all. I don't have the clip. I know somebody does. Of Shantall dressing up as French Fry Girl with a ponytail on one side and blood dripping down her face, fake blood dripping down her face, mocking the injury that French Fry Girl sustained when that incident happened to her. Again, weird behavior for someone who's supposed to be a victim. You're mocking somebody else's trauma. That's what kind of a person Shantall is. She mocks other people's pain, yet she wants sympathy for her own, even if the pain is fake. She wants everybody to pay attention to her pain, but screw everybody else's. Screw everybody else's.
She was using a Google burner phone, which she even admitted to using a burner phone number. It wasn't even her real phone number. And
it doesn't matter. The fact that you gave this abusive person the phone to talk to somebody who was the actual victim of DV, no, absolutely not.
She got into a tiff with this guy that I was with.
And why did she get into a tiff? It was over you, stupid. Because of things that you were saying. That's why.
Abuser. And he basically was like, you know, if you love me, you know, go after her, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. And I, of course, took his side. I was completely blinded. But she was very invasive. She was very invasive.
Invasive by trying to warn you that you were an abusive person and you need to get away before something bad happens to you. That's invasive. This is how you repay people that care about you, Shantall.
With her videos about the situation, she was just very disgusting. And so I showed messages and I held the phone up and it accidentally.
No, not accidentally. You gave him the phone.
Showed her number and I felt bad about that. It was an
No. You were wanting to gain points with Natter. You want to make it seem like I'm on your side, Natter. Does that make you love me more? You were looking for anything to bond with him. You're sick.
Accidental docs, and I even offered, it's on camera, to change her number and pay for it. They ignore that though. So anyway, these women are deplorable. They're worse. They're 100 times worse. They project. They're gaslighting. Their audience are just a bunch of zombies because they hate me.
Keemstar don't care. He's a businessman. He don't care about your emotions. He don't care about your thoughts. He cares about what makes him money. And last night he made a whole lot of money off of Girl World and he was thrilled. He made all that money by having French Fry Girl and Yaba on panel, and they were talking about you. So they made money off of you without having you on panel and you being a liability. It was a win-win all the way around.
So yeah, because they lie to their audience about everything. Like, it's just ridiculous.
We got receipts. We don't have to lie.
Ridiculous. What do you even, at one point someone was talking about, Yaba was talking about McDonald's. Like, what the fuck? Where is I want proof that I give all my money to him.
You know what? I was watching the panel last night and I was giggling when Yaba was on because she was trolling, knowing that Shantall was watching and the things she was saying would make her mad. And look, it worked. The trolling worked.
Because what you don't know is that before I met him, he had his own place. Like, he was established here. If you look up the laws of Kuwait, okay, if you're smart people, you cannot live in Kuwait as an expat. He's a Syrian expat living in Kuwait unless you have a job. He was here. You need a work visa.
Yeah, he had a job, and then he started working for you, and he stopped working on his own, which is exactly the way you wanted it. So he depends on your money. You give him money so he can go F around and go play around the red room and do his thing. He depends on your money. That's exactly the way you want things. You want to control your men financially so they can't escape you. That's how you play the game.
All right. So he has his own business. He's in business partnership with a Kuwaiti and some other people. He has to have money to be here. There's no homeless people in Kuwait for that reason. None. All right.
And that might be another reason why Salah does not want Shantall to go back to Canada. Because maybe it's on paper that he works for her and he's getting a salary. But if she leaves, he can't do that. He's got to find a job. So he might not be holding on to Shantall for love, but hey, on paper, it looks like you're my employer and I have to have a job and you are my job.
So he had his own place, bachelor, whatever. He had his own car. He still has his own place in his own car. Because yes, I have debts that I'm taking care of with my YouTube income, which, by the way, Social Blade is wrong. It's not $500 a month. Please, you think I would?
And this, I was really hoping. I know that the panel, like the time that Yaba and Frenchie had on panel was very, very short. And when it comes to Shantall, to be fair, there's a lot to go over. There's so much to the lore. We're talking 8 years of stuff on YouTube, one thing after the other. I was really hoping that the Foodie thing would come up, but it didn't. But maybe that's for another show. But that's where she's making her money, Keemstar. She does Foodie requests on Cameo and in private. That's where the bulk of her income now is these days.
Would be on here for $500 a month? No. I don't give him shit. Like, we're married, and anyway, it's not anyone's business. Keem, do you give your wife money?
That's not your business. That's his wife.
You know, I'm sure people say the same thing about you. And Boogie, too. Do you think Desi is with you because you're good looking? You both have money. You both have clout. So why are you shaming me for that? Anyway, it's all false shit. So the things that you're like, yeah, get her over, it's not a win that you think it is, because it's all BS. You know, I have done some pretty outlandish things years ago, like I said. And since reverting to Islam, I've been struggling with completely changing as a person. But you don't know how sociopathic these women are, especially FFG. Of course, I threaten legal action. And you know what this woman does? Just watch one of her streams. There's no talent. There's no camming up.
You know what, Shantall? You are not the CEO of YouTube. You are not a boss hiring people for a job. So whatever opinions you have of Yaba, of FFG, of how they do things on their channel, of the girl gang, of the support group, it doesn't matter. Those aren't your channels. They are not under you. They're doing well. They're getting more engagement than you. You're so bothered and you're so preoccupied with judging other people on YouTube and how they do things that you're not paying attention to what you're doing. That is the issue. You're got your nose in everybody else's business, and because you can't smell the fact that your channel stinks. It reeks. You're not putting your nose in your own backyard and smelling all the rubbish, and there are piles of it, and cleaning it up and making it profitable again.
It's just sitting there pausing the space bar and fat shaming me when she's got 12 chins herself. All right. This woman is Danny DeVito, Batman from Batman. All right. The Penguin from Batman.
Again, Keemstar does not care. He's not judging FFG nor Yaba on their looks. He's like, it's entertainment. He's all about entertainment value. They added entertainment value. They made a lot of money last night. He is beyond happy today and probably trying to put something in the works to bring Yaba and FFG back somehow.
Batman. She has no place. Make her cam up, please. Make her cam up.
Oh, you desperate so-and-so. She's so desperate for FFG and Yaba to cam up so she can say something awful about the way they look.
Just do it. She won't do it. At least I show my fat self, right? So anyway, this woman is insane. I travel.
You know what it is? You know, y'all, you know what this is? She is big mad because she will never, ever be a paid employee of Keemstar. And she's mad because Keemstar might bring FFG and Yaba back on. Like, she doesn't like it. And I'm loving that look. Can I capture that look? Y'all give me a second. I need a thumbnail for this react. And I love that mad toddler face. I'm adoring that all day. Yes, ma'am. I love that for you. But she's mad because FFG and Yaba, I'm sure there's going to be like an open door policy of them coming back, but not so much for her.
Regularly to Canada because, you know, that's where I'm from and my family. She, on my live stream, would take note of my backgrounds, the stores in the backgrounds. And she would then drive down to my hometown where I was, go to stores that I shop at and show them a picture and ask if I shopped there just for content. So for example,
Shantall, you don't own Canada. You're talking about how she stalked you, but didn't you go to the area where she lives? Didn't you go to the Orange Julep near her home? I don't know exactly where Frenchie lives, but didn't you go to her town? You don't own Canada. And what do you care? You don't live there anymore. You can't live there anymore. You're too broke.
I always smoked weed. In Canada, it's legal. Here, it's not. But when I would go back to Canada, I would smoke. And I went to a dispensary, and I didn't tell anybody about it because why do I have to? Why do I have to tell you what I'm doing every minute of the day? You know, why would I tell people that? Like, I don't know. So they suspect, oh, she's high, whatever. I don't know what the point of that was, but who cares? So she thought to prove it, she would stalk me and go.
You know what the point of it all is, if there was a point? The point is, Shantall, you went to Kuwait. You were claiming to be a changed person, correct? He said, I'm leaving my bad habits behind. I'm leaving my addictions behind. I'm a new woman. I've got this new guy in my life. I'm getting closer to Allah. I'm now a reverted Muslim woman. I'm turning over a new leaf. Yet every single time that you went back to Canada, you proved that you were not Miriam. You proved that you were Foodie Beauty because you were doing the exact same thing in Canada that you were doing before you left. The point was that you were still indulging and still engaging in harmful behaviors, stopping at the weed store, like eating all the food. Like, you haven't changed. That is the point. Proving that you haven't changed, proving that you're not Miriam, proving that you're still Foodie Beauty beneath the clothing. That is the point.
Drive from Montreal to my hometown, more than an hour away, about an hour, go to the dispensary with her psycho ass, show a picture of me and say, did this woman shop here? Almost costing someone their job. But I'm the crazy stalker. All right. Yeah. So she's what she keeps holding over my head is this whole I doxed her fake Google number years ago. That was years ago. And it was an accident. And I offered to change her number. So what? What now? Anyway, there's so much more. And to sit here and accuse me of being a doxer, but in the next breath, Yabba Scabba is going to laugh.
You know what this sounds like? You know what this all sounds like? It sounds like, to compare it to something, this sounds like somebody who is looking for a job, you know, and they approach somebody for a job, and then they don't get the job. And then after they're outside the boss's office door with the door closed, they're trying to find anybody in the company to make their case, hoping that by making their case and explaining things, that they'll still get the job somehow. That's what it feels like. It feels like you made a mistake. You should still hire me. Even though he's not going to hire you, Shantall, because you are a walking, talking, doxing liability. And he's got a business to think about.
At the fact that Marty targeted my mother, who had no dog in this fight, no horse in this race. The shit he did to her was awful. In the middle of the night, when my mom was sleeping, because she has a life and she needs to work, would send escorts to her home. Like, dangerous shit. Like, things that only people who are inbred would laugh at. It's funny that you call me Funko. Like, what even, like, something a 10-year-old would laugh at. Like, my mom.
Hold it. You're leaving out part of the story with Music Biz Marty. When Shantall says things like that, the automatic question should be, okay, Shantall, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do to tick off Music Biz Marty? Why don't you tell that part of the story? You're leaving that part out on purpose. What started the whole thing? Why did he come after you? Why did he waste his time with you? Music Biz Marty covers Cyrax. That's like his deal. You know, Girl World covers you and Amber. He covers Cyrax. What did you do? You were taunting Marty. You were defending Cyrax. So yeah, you got on his radar. That's why he went after you. Because you were poking at him. And Music Biz Marty is someone you don't want to freaking poke at. He's got people around him. They're very creative with their trolling. They came for you because you poked the bear. And it was because of Marty doing the trolling. That's why when you go back home to Canada, your mother refuses to let you stream at the house. She'll let you sleep on the couch, but then you want to go stream, you got to do it outside the house. They don't want to get doxxed. They had enough of that. Tell that part of the story, Shantall. That you poked at Music Biz Marty and he poked right back and you didn't like it.
Mom after my uncle, and that there's literal proof of who my dad is online. Easy. I can't. I'm sorry, Keem.
Some of the things that Yaba said last night. It was about trolling Shantall on the panel, knowing that she would respond, knowing that she would get mad, and it worked. Good job, Miss Yaba. Good job. What you wanted to happen did happen. Well done, ma'am.
I can't with dumb people. I'm sorry. But if anyone is inbred, Yaba, it's you. You are straight from the movie Deliverance. You rabid chipmunk hillbilly. Like, you sound inbred. You look inbred, huh, Shantall? You're projecting. I've proven so many times that I don't pay for shit here. I pay for my debts.
Lies. Then why are you so broke? Why is it that twice now you went to cafes and your car was declined? Explain that.
Back in Canada. By the way, Wings, you're wrong. Maybe do some research. But I cannot escape my tax debt. I can't just run here and be like, I'm not going to pay Canada. No, that doesn't work that way. You have to pay taxes.
But you've not been.
And because Kuwait doesn't have a tax treaty with the US and the YouTube is a US based company, I have to pay taxes. So no, I didn't run away from anything. I ran away to escape shitty stalkers. But also I fell in love with somebody. And
oh, geez. You fell in love with the idea of being a wife. You wanted to play house, and so you did.
And moved here. And if he was wanting to milk me for YouTube money, he would want me to do the show. Make it make sense.
Again, he's okay with you doing anything to yourself that you want to do, but if it involves him, his name, his family's name, things coming up that might get him arrested in Kuwait, yeah, he's going to veto that right away.
I told him how much you guys make on Lolcow Live, and potentially I could make just as much, because look at the views I'm bringing you.
You only went on there once, and the views that they got last night from just Frenchie and Java being there far outweighed whatever you brought them.
If I were to engage on a regular basis with this lowbrow shit, please. But he said never, because he cares about me, my mental health.
Wrong. He cares about himself. He cares about his name, his reputation, how it would affect him personally. The things being discussed on that panel, if it got back around to Kuwaiti officials, he could get arrested or deported. That's why he cares.
And my journey to becoming a better Muslim and trying to build a newer audience on different content, travel content. I have a lot of videos up of me traveling back and forth to Canada, Kuwait. Very interesting if you want to watch those.
So are we going to get like a whole slew of vlogs of like cutting room floor content, Shantall? Because I feel that that's next. That you're not going to want to go live for a while. You're going to wait for the noise to die down. In the meantime, you're going to put out BS videos that make no sense, old footage that you took, and put them out just to put out something to make a little bit of Google AdSense money. Is that what's going to happen?
He would want me to do the show if he didn't care about me. And all he cared about was money. He doesn't need my money. To live in this building, you have to show your bank account and show that you have money and that you have a job. To get a car here, the same thing. There's no proof, is my point, of any of these baseless, rumors. And I find it funny because Yaba's with someone who's literally gay for pay. But whatever.
No, you did not just say that. You did not just say that. How dare you? Oh, I hope Yaba drags you for that. Yaba's in a relationship with Sam and they love each other. How dare you say that? You disgusting creature. How freaking dare you?
So, the fact that someone like FFG, looking like she does, look shames me it calls out my behavior. Where? What behavior? Me eating on camera when they do eat like that behind the camera. Because
that really makes me mad what she said. Talking about gay for pay. Shantall, do you remember when you were in Canada and during Pride Week, you were claiming to be bisexual? Remember that? I remember that. You were talking all about how you wanted to take a woman out on a date, take her out to dinner. You were interested in women. You did that during Pride Week. And you're not really bisexual. You've always been about the men. You prefer men. You hate other women. You are a female misogynist. You hate other women. You view them as competition. You don't have women friends. But during Pride Week, you were trying to bring in the LGBTQ community and join up on your channel. So you were claiming to be bi and, oh, I got to get a cake to celebrate coming out. When you never came out, you were faking that too. So you want to talk about gay for pay? Wasn't that what you were portraying yourself to do during Pride Week when you're not even a true bisexual woman or a gay woman? Yeah, you were. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you forget about that? Did you forget about doing that? Because I remember. Ticked a lot of people off. You pretending like that. Don't you dare talk about Yaba and Sam like that ever again.
Because this bitch claims to eat pineapple. And she's... Look, the last time she cammed up, this picture...
Pineapple rage. I hope if Frenchie, if she ever cams up, that she comes on eating a pineapple just to make you rage.
2 years ago. What do you think she looks like now? She's like Dorian Gray.
What do you care? It's not your body. Mind your business.
I'm sorry.
You're over there looking like an entire kettlebell with Angry Bird brows. Girl, don't worry about what she looks like. You're the one that's pushing 600 pounds and you can't move and you can't walk around and you can't do things by yourself. You're the one that's close to bedbound. You got all kinds of health problems, Shantall, for real, being serious here. You got health problems up the wazoo. Don't worry about somebody else's body. Worry about your own body. It is hurting severely. Enlarged heart, heart murmur, enlarged fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, type 2 diabetes. You've had blood clots in your lungs. You might have diabetic neuropathy in your foot, in your leg, and your leg goes numb. There's something going on with your eyes. You've got bad vision. I mean, do I have to keep going? You're on like 6 different diabetic medications, max doses, plus insulin. And that did not start until after you went to Kuwait. So why are you worried about everybody else's body? Worry about your own body, girlfriend. It needs help.
No way. Make her cam up. If she's going to talk shit, it's only fair. I'm just saying, before you just accept it as truth, do a little more research into the people you're letting on your show. And that's what drives them nuts, and that's why they hate. Because I'm trying to be a better person. They don't have that old me that they can drag when I was in an abusive relationship, when I became a...
Oh, we can still drag you because you're the same person underneath the clothing, dear. And you keep lying. If you stopped lying, if you started telling the truth and just be honest and be your real authentic self, maybe you might get dragged a little less. But the more you continue to lie and the more you try to rewrite history and insist that you didn't do things when you did, yeah, we're going to drag you. That's part of the reason why you hate Girl World. Every single person in it, from the reactors to the archive channels, to the clip channels, to the audience members who've been around for a while, we all function as a hall of mirrors. And every time you step into Girl World, which is often, you're walking around those mirrors and they're all reflecting yourself back at you. And you hate that. You hate the fact that you can't escape your own reflection. The reflection never changes. And we remind you that it's not changing, that you're still the same person. You try to rewrite yourself, but it doesn't work because you haven't changed yet.
addicted to drugs, which I don't find funny. I don't find that funny. So FFG was in a very similar situation. So I don't know why she's even talking about someone else's abusive relationship. She was with someone who was worse.
And you mocked it. You mocked it in that Halloween video with fake blood running down your forehead. You were mocking it, wearing a ponytail, biatch.
The Natter. She was in an abusive relationship. Actually, if you go on Kiwi Farms, FFG, also known as Anne-Marie Feldman.
Doxing. She's doxing FFG right now. Like, I don't dox people, Keemstar, yet here we are doxing. Saying her name. Doxing.
Has 9 evictions.
And what's your point? Are you trying to use that as a gotcha? People get evicted all the time. It's not criminal. Maybe something happened. Maybe the finances were bad. It happened, Shantall. You're trying to use that as a harmful gotcha. At the same time, biatch, do you really have a home? You're essentially homeless. The place you're staying in, your name, I'm sure, is not on the lease. It can't be. If you went back to Canada, you would not have a home, but you're going to try to shame someone for being evicted? I don't care how many times, it's not your business. And the only reason why you don't have evictions on your record is because for the last several years, you've been living with other people whose names were on the lease. But if your name had been on there, you would have been evicted because you're not good about paying rent. So I would stop if I was you.
9. And this bitch wants to talk about my financial situation that I have nothing to show. You sit there in your lonely, smoky apartment.
How do you know what she's living in? You don't know what she's living in? You don't know about her place. She's doing well. I'm sure she's doing very well.
Sounding like you have stage 5 emphysema.
And you are what with your low BMI, eat a cheesecake voice? Quit it.
Smoking out your dog and stolen cat.
Stolen cat? BBJ wasn't stolen. She was given away.
And have nothing. Nothing. You still have this shitty van you had when you stalked me 2 years ago.
How do you know that? You haven't been home in over 3 years. How do you know that?
You still have a computer with no web camera.
How do you know that? You don't know these things. You're acting like you're in the know, but you're not in her personal life. How do you know these things?
I really don't understand where you come off. You sound.
I'm pretty certain that with the money that Frenchie makes, if she want to go out and get a webcam, she could do it right now this minute. She just doesn't want one. She doesn't do the webcam thing, and it's okay. This is what she wants to do. She still makes more money than Shantall being off camera than Shantall does being on camera.
Sound like a huge fat hypocrite that you are. Like, and before they bring up again, oh, she's an abuser. This is her next thing. If she can't get me on the doxing her number 2 years ago, which is why she says she's going to forever make videos, it's the cat abuse. Now, I've been on YouTube since 2017, and these people have seen me and my
Receipts. Just remember, we got receipts. We got receipts all day. We got the receipts of when you gave BBJ away. We got all the receipts to show the conditions those cats were living in. We got the receipts showing BBJ limping down the stairs. We got the receipts of you going to the vet with Roman and you playing on the live. The vet saying in the recorded message that BBJ needed to come back because she had oral issues and she was never taken back. We've also got the receipts of you admitting that BBJ's nails grew into her foot pads once before it happened again about a year later. Should I keep going? Should I keep going? What about the receipts of Pete's saying to the audience, yeah, the litter boxes have not been changed in 3 months. What about the boxes of kitty litter, the pretty litter that were sitting on the floor that never got used, even though all that you or Pete's had to do was change out the freaking litter boxes? What about the receipts of the food being on the floor just scattered? What about that? What about feeding them ice cream and cheesy poops because you ran out of food? What about that other receipt of Pete's? When you were with Natter, when you were in Kuwait, he ran out of food and he waited 2 days to say something, and some nice person had cat food postmated over. There's a whole lot of receipts out there, Shantall. We got them all.
pets for years. I've been an amazing pet owner.
No, you're not.
I would never hurt I would kill my.
Even with Julia, that poor baby has an infection because you're an idiot and you didn't put the cone on so it could heal properly. I think you enjoy your cat suffering. I really do. I think it gets you off to see her suffer. And that's why it's taken so long for that baby to heal. You need to cut that out. Get your rocks off some other way, loser.
Myself, I would cut my arm before intentionally harming my animals.
Hey everyone, so here's some songs that I sing regularly to BB Junes.
No, like you're not. This was BBJ. These are old pictures of BBJ. This was when she was younger. These are old pictures. But in the end, BBJ did not look like that when Frenchie came to pick her up. These are pictures when she was much younger. You guys can see her. She's like almost a young kitten. Shantall is intentionally using young pictures of BBJ to paint herself like, oh, I'm an amazing pet owner. Go F yourself. If you were an amazing pet owner, when Frenchie got BBJ and took her to the vet, all the things that were wrong with her would not have been wrong. But there were a lot of things wrong, and it took several vet visits to get them all right again, to deal with the arthritis, the stage 1 kidney disease, the severe UTI infection, the dirty infected ears, the mats on her fur that could not all be taken off in one visit due to her age. She could not be put under, the 5 nails grown into her foot pads. There were so many things going on with that poor baby. All your fault.
My cat's taking a shit right now because she doesn't. Anytime she hears the word FFG, she goes for a shit.
Sure, whatever.
So, now I was planning to travel to Kuwait to get married. By the way, this bitch likes to talk about my fake marriage. You can't live together in Kuwait unless you're married. So.
Hence the reason why the two of you don't live together. He's got his own place and you got your own place. And that's why he's constantly going in and out, because he doesn't live there. He just shows up long enough to make an appearance and drop off your food, and then he's gone. He spends very little time around you.
But she literally invented a whole ass saying she had a lumberjack boyfriend. Yeah, okay.
Do you care?
A poster.
I don't care. What do you care? I don't care if FFG is dating a mannequin from a store. So what? What do you care? Not your life, not your business. Big deal. Speaking of mannequins, Shantall, long ago you talked about buying a Saks doll for $2,000. You should have done it, girl. It'd been a lot cheaper than Salah, and you would be able to keep that one. And the bonus is you wouldn't have had to worry about the Saks doll cheating on you.
Probably kisses, because her face makes men sterile. There's no way. Anyway,
Ma'am, you look like an entire jump scare. Quit.
So I was planning to go to Kuwait. I had a roommate, Pete. He was going to take care of the cats. He lived with me at the time. I was going to Kuwait for 3 months. Okay, that was how long the tourist visa was. So while I was in Kuwait, I video chatted Pete every day to check on my pet.
I'm noticing something. Are y'all noticing something? I don't know what's going on here. Y'all help me with this. What's this? To me, this looks like eyeliner or something up here on her eyelid. But what's going on her eyeball? Y'all see this? It looks like a discoloration on her eyeball. It doesn't look like pink eye to me. It looks purple. Like, what happened to your eyes, Shantall?
Pets. If I was neglectful and didn't care, why would I do that? If I was a neglectful pet owner, the SPCA.
I mean, am I crazy? Do y'all see it too? Now that I pointed it out, do you see like the little corner of her eyeball, the inside of her eyeball? It looks purple? Almost like a bruise? What happened?
Came to my house.
There it is. Do y'all see it? Right there. Right there. What's going on with that? I'm weirded out. Sorry.
3 or 4 times. At least 3, but I think it was 4. To check on my pets. Every single time, no abuse, no neglect. They left.
And animal control came to their house and they weren't let in several times. And the one time they were let in, they told Shantall and Pete to clean the place up. And so therefore they did. The place was so filthy that animal control insisted that they clean the place up. And that's when they took 3 days to clean the house.
And they did that because trolls called, because they listened to this outrage from this bee that I wasn't feeding my pets. I don't even...
You weren't feeding them. Never once did I see you do a pet haul. It was always hauls for you. But despite the fact that you had 2 cats, you're making 20, 30 grand a month, you never did a pet food, pet supply haul of tons of... Look, Shantall, look, hold on. See this? I got tons of this. All right, for Booger. Like, she's got kibble and she's got this. I make sure to have cat food for my cat. Okay? She loves this crap, this fancy feast. She likes the fish. But you, 20, 30 grand a month, you couldn't be bothered to get enough food. You buy a few cans of cat food and then you'd run out. And that's part of the reason why Sam was going after poor little BBJ, because, you know, he's a male and he was a bigger male and he wanted the food. He was hungry. So he was attacking BBJ to try to get more food. He was bullying her and you weren't separating them and feeding them separately. And poor little BBJ could not eat the food anyway due to her rotten teeth. It hurt her teeth and you didn't want to fix the problem. So yeah, you were running out of food. You were feeding them cheesy poofs on the floor. You were feeding them ice cream when you ran out of food and you didn't care.
You know where it comes from. They pull it out of their ass. Anyways, about a month and a half in, I called Pete's on video and I wanted to see my cat BBJ's nails because they had been cut.
Why are we going over this again? Can I just ask the question, why are we going over this again? I mean, the whole subject of BBJ and what happened with her, it didn't come up on panel. Why are we bringing this up? Is it because she's afraid it'll get brought up? Is this like a preemptive strike? What is this? Is she needing something to talk about? Why? You know what? I know the BBJ talk upsets some of you, and I get it. We're pet owners, like some of us are pet owners and animal lovers, and what she did to BBJ was bad. So I'm going to try to scoot forward. Are we talking about anything else besides the cat?
Okay. So I made an appointment with her vet to get her taken.
You know what? We've already heard this story. Let's scoot ahead.
I was drunk about my abuser and his current girlfriend. Yeah, I did that.
Oh, and by the way, she hates Natter and she hates Dee Dee, but yet she had a 3-way situation with them twice. Twice. One of those occasions happened right before her trip to Cuba. You know, that trip where she was going off on Natter all the way around. But before she went on that trip for her birthday, she went to Natter and Dee Dee's place and did the most intimate of things with them. She hated them, but yet she was intimate with them. So figure that out.
But no. So yeah, she did that. So, and in the messages between me and this lady, I said, I'm going to take my cat to the vet.
We're still on that. Girl, move on from the BBJ thing, please.
You're a bad person. It makes you a person that you should strive to be better than yourself. But we all have issues. By the way, Yaba's history is even more darker than that. You should look at her Kiwi Farms thread.
You know what? Yaba is not the one that was gunning for a job with Keemstar. She's not under the microscope. You are, because you're the one that wanted the job. And things were found out about you that makes you a liability. As I said, total vibes, y'all. Total. I went into the boss's office and I sat down with the boss to get a job. The boss said at the end of the interview that I didn't get the job. So I'm going to walk outside the boss's office and talk to one of the employees, still trying to make my case, hoping that it'll change the boss's mind. I'm getting that kind of a vibe.
Her and her wife have bullied somebody with
blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Shh. Quiet.
child's name in the obituary.
All right. Like she's going into the Yaba thing. Are you going to basically just bash on Yaba the whole time?
How I can't stand Marty, which I'm apparently not allowed to have that opinion because of how he kept going after Cyrax. Like,
you took up for Cyrax, and Cyrax is a sax offender. The same way that you took up for Karate Joe, who is a convicted sax offender, and Dragon Lord Frodo, who's also a convicted sax offender. You seem to like gathering up PDF files and making friends with them and defending them, which makes you even more disgusting.
we get it. That's all I said. Now that I know more about the lore, okay, fine, whatever. Whatever. I don't even have an opinion, and just whatever. What he did is gross, yes, of course. But anyway, I didn't write him a glowing obituary. You know, I didn't make a tweet saying put some respect on his name. Did I?
Actually, with Karate Joe, you did a video defending Karate Joe and saying, "Oh, he did his time in jail. He should be forgiven, although he was a PDF file. The society should just forgive him." You're vile.
No, but you did that to a PDF file, the one that you had kids with. So,
okay, like she's gonna go on about Yaba. I'm done. We're almost at 3 hours anyway, so let's just cut it off here, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed this react. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.